There are like kind of two big things that keeps coming back in my career again and again. The first thing is no matter how cool you think your algorithm is, especially you might be working on a physics algorithm or like a shader that is extremely intricate and you think it's super cool and it's just like you just go through all these PhD academic papers to implement it. Like no matter how cool you think it is, if it's not usable by an artist or an animator or a designer on the tool side, it might as well not exist. Because if it's not discoverable, or if you just display it in a tool but you have like 20 different parameter 1 to 20, and no one knows how to tune it, ultimately what people would do is they would be scared of it and they would just learn to not use it and go back to what they're comfortable with. And that's not really what you want when you're implementing something new. You want people to embrace a new feature or a new set of APIs that comes with like a new Direct 3D version or something like that. And so it's not something that people think about, but user friendliness is extremely important when you're making an engine, and it's user friendliness to people who don't think like engineers. Like, I've had artists that ask me like, why do you have to make this condition that look like this? Like, why can't it just be reversed? Because in the engine it might make sense for you to test for equality of certain things, but if you think about it from the art perspective, it should be a different way. So what I've learned from that is also like get, even for tools, not just your games, even for tools, prototyping is really useful. Get your tools in the artist's hand early and let them know that this is an early preview and they can totally change what is exposed, what they can control, and we're going to work through it together. It will save so much time later on when you realize someone abandoned the tool or just like completely used it in the wrong way. Yeah, and then the next set of thing that I've learned is like treat your QA people well and get them onto the team as early as possible. And that can be just like an engineer that by day, and like for 1 hour a week they're actually like QAing, or a producer or whoever's on the team. You can rotate the role, but get QA in, especially if you're working on anything more than like 3 systems. Because what happens is you might fix something in, for example, right now I fixed something in physics, and it doesn't look like it will break anything else. And then 2 weeks later, some rendering is breaking because you have no idea that actually the rendering is depending on this physics parameter to be sent in through a shader. And because if you use more data-driven pipelines, it's really hard to tell from the code that someone else is depending on this parameter. So having QA, or having the team members share QA responsibilities, and having people test different parts of the game that they don't work on, it really helps you have a perspective on the big picture and help you figure out how to wrap your head around such a complex system. But games are really just complex systems.